Good morning, colleagues. Let me start by welcoming all participants from member states, because indeed it's because of you that we are here. I also want to recognize the Director or Statistician General from Statistics South Africa, and the team. I see a large team which really shows how Stat South Africa actually takes this training or meeting. I would also want to acknowledge the colleagues from UNECA, from US Census Bureau, from ONS, but also from UNFPA, because from UNFPA we have a real big team, because when the UN, or at the country level, the UN support to the censuses is often done through UNFPA. So we make sure that all of our technical support from CTAs, from the people who are coordinating censuses at the country level, are all represented here to really share those experiences. But also, we have also the regional economic commissions, the East African community. I think they are present, and we would want to acknowledge them. I think my name is Frederico Kwayo. I'm a regional advisor for population and development, overseeing the census planning and implementation in the region, East and Southern Africa. So I'm talking on behalf of the regional director, who could not be here with us. And also we wanted our country representatives for South Africa, who is also the country director for Botswana and Eswatini, to be here, but is just reporting from leave today, and therefore we'll get the opportunity for him to maybe be here during the closing. I think we all know that UNFPA has a tradition of supporting censuses, and that is through planning, through implementation, analysis, and also promoting data accessibility and utilization. So we've done this over the years, and that is what we are known for. On top of that, we also support countries through different modalities. That is technical support. We have funding, capacity strengthening, trainings, quality control or assurance, and much more so in terms of resource mobilization. So we are in the life course of the censuses as UNFPA, but also our support actually differs from country to country. There are those countries that would need our support in terms of CTAs, we offer that. There are those that we only offer quality assurance in the work that they do. So depending on the needs of the country, depending on the assessments, we offer those support together with the other partners. I think this meeting is quite important, just like my speakers or colleagues who have talked from ONS, but also from the US Census Bureau. And you'll keep on hearing this, because we are here for this week-long meeting to share experiences of the 2020 round of census. What has succeeded? Because I think there's a lot of success if there's the word success. There's also achievements that we've actually realized. There are challenges, there are gaps, and all these together will actually guide us in shaping the next round of census, which is the 2030. So I would just highlight maybe 3 or 4 things that to us as UNFPA is important. And I think the first one is the coordinated technical support. And I'm proud to say that in 2020 round of census, we have had a very good coordination with UNECA, with US Census Bureau, with ONS, so that when we go to a country, then we know what UNFPA is providing, we know what UNECA is providing, and so is the US Census Bureau and ONS. And in that way, then we are able to really make use of the scarce resources in the most efficient way. Things like workshops, we've actually held jointly so that at least we cut on cost, but also avoid really bringing confusion to national statistical offices. So we believe that we are going to really continue with that as we go to the next census. The other thing which is important is that although we have successes, but actually the great countries of Africa, you talk of Ethiopia, we talk of DRC, Congo, Nigeria, which has a lot of people in Africa. And you know, these countries are not going to do the census in 2020 round. So collectively, what can we do? And indeed, this actually sits in the honors of all of us. You talk of UNFPA, you talk of UNECA, but I think much more so the Statistician General of South Africa. Because I remember we used to have the African Symposium for Statistical Development, and this symposium would be taken to such countries so that actually we can engage with the political class in those countries. So maybe through your chair, the SG, I think we need to really come up with a strategy to make sure that even though in this round, these countries may not do the census, but what is it that we can do to really ignite the political support for those countries? I think there are also other countries in West Africa. Within this region, a lot of countries are doing the census, but we are just worried as UNFPA and as the international community that concerted efforts need to be done. My next point relates to all these discussions that we are going to hold here would actually feed into the principles and recommendations for the 2030. So it's not a light matter. We are going to document them, but also some of it is going to feed into the principles and recommendations for planning the 2030. And just last week, we were in New York to more or less discuss the third revision of the principles and recommendations. And also Africa was represented by the MC, talked of one of the best NSOs in Africa, Statistics South Africa. So StatSA was represented, and also other really strong NSOs. So we look forward that some of these discussions are going to get their way into the principles and recommendations. But I think more importantly is these experiences, we could use them to more or less try to contextualize the principles and recommendations to conform to the African situation. Because ideally, if you've read and you are a census expert, then Europe indeed develops what they call as the principles and recommendations that is relevant to the countries within Europe. So I tend to believe we are going to put our heads together and see how we can do that for the 2030 round of census, and then all these experiences that we'll get from here will feed into that. I think my last comment would relate to the documentation. We are all census experts, and really, we all know how important the data is. But it is only as a statistician that we know that. It would be good if the census offices, but also other offices, we could document some of the impact that have come from the use of census data. If it is in the education, if it is in, let's say, in the health, we need to really document this, and this documentation of the impact of the census data will actually enable us in terms of resource mobilization. For example, if you are going to the Ministry of Finance to request for census allocation, and you can demonstrate that the census data has been used to put up the schools, then this would be one of the strong points of the census. So I just request that, if possible, maybe each and every country need to document that, so that at least we have some of the impact stories that are coming from the census. So I look forward to a very robust discussion on behalf of UNFPA. We are present in the room and will contribute as much as possible so that at least this week-long discussion is a success. I think lastly is to thank my brother and colleague, William, for really working so hard. We had a technical committee that was planning this, but UNECA being the African institution, they took the lead on this, and we really want to thank you, William, for the work well done. Thanks, and over to you, Chair.